can't wait to talk to Emily today. I am really excited just to hear about her whole, hi DP, her whole journey into motherhood and also her skincare line because I'm obsessed with skincare, as most of you know, and she's actually created an entire line in addition to creating a human. So she, I do. She is so inspiring and amazing. And let's bring, she's prompted on time. Just got so bright in this room. I'm a disaster today. And we're going to talk all about that. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I mean, for you coming on during your whole move, you just moved, right?
I did just move. Yes, yes, yes. But we are officially settled in now. But I mean, there's still, of course, like we're in a whole new area. So it's definitely an adjustment. But I'm settled enough now. But it's definitely a big life transition, no doubt.
Wow. I mean, you moved and also moving with a baby is like no joke. I did that, when my daughter was like 5.5 months old and it was a disaster.
Yeah, there was some drama, like where is the crib mattress? Like we just need that mattress. People were crawling to the back of like the moving truck to get it out. I was like, oh my God, this is so dramatic. But we are all settled and it's all good and I'm super excited to be here.
That's so amazing. So you're now like out of the city, but
Yes.
doing the full kind of family mom out of the city vibe.
Yes. So my husband and I are both from upstate New York. So we always kind of pictured raising our children kind of in some sort of suburb of New York State or a suburb in general. So we decided to make the move. And, my daughter, she's going to be one in about a month. And, it's a really big adjustment. I've been in the city since like 2008, which makes me feel and sound so old. And I've loved it here, but it's definitely a big change.
Yeah. And I mean, it's an exciting change, obviously, especially just like the idea of being able to get your kids outdoors and outside. I feel like, especially since becoming a mom myself, that's the
Huge.
emphasis that I put on being able to like go on a walk really casually and quickly is such a game changer. So I'm sure that's going to be such like a huge relief for you guys.
Oh my God, it is. That's a total game changer. And like the walks are so peaceful and so quiet. And it's so nice because it's fall in New York and like the leaves are changing. And I feel like I can like take a deep breath in a way that I hadn't in a long time. And 100% now that I'm a mom, like I just open the sliding glass door and I'm like, we're outside. Like, let's get out here. Let's be in the grass. Like, let's hang out. So that's been like a huge game changer. In the city, like it's tough. You're in like most of us are in high rise apartments and like don't get out as much as you would like. So it's been really nice.
That's amazing. That's so exciting and such like an awesome thing, especially if you want to have your kid be able to be outdoors in nature. It's such a huge
Totally.
thing. I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank
So
you.
I want to talk a little bit about, I mean, everyone knows you as being like this huge model, so successful and just like you're everywhere. And I feel like the transition, because I know we want to talk about a couple of different things, but the transition from being like this huge model superstar to now being a mom and a model and also a business owner and so much more. But how has that transition been for you, into motherhood and also into this kind of new career space and being pregnant, postpartum, all of it? Because your baby's not even one yet.
No, exactly. No, not yet. Transition from model to mom to business founder. I mean, I think like for me, it was definitely a big transition. I always feel like I'm never doing anything perfectly, or I always feel like I should be doing more of some one thing or another thing. The mom guilt thing comes in there, which I feel like every mom
Yeah.
understands that and relates to that. But I think if anything, like going from model to co-founder, that's been like a huge challenge because I feel like as a model, like everyone tells you what to do, what to wear, how to act. Like it's very straightforward. So becoming a
Yeah.
co-founder is much more ambiguous. Owning a business, like there's just so many things to do and you have to like be very forward thinking. And then as a mom, it's just like all about being present and like being there with your little one and like absorbing all of that. So it's been, a journey. It's not easy, but it's good.
How do you, I always think it's interesting how people like balance all those different moments of feeling like you're never doing enough of everything. I mean, you have a ton of different roles, you are juggling a lot, and also the mom guilt factor, of course, comes in a lot of those things. And, you know, when you feel like you're not doing enough of this or enough of that, like how do you manage that stress factor or anxiety that comes in and tells you you're not doing enough?
Yeah, I think like a big part of that is like prioritizing like what's most important, like really kind of looking at a to-do list when it comes to like work slash business. I'm like, okay, what like truly, truly, truly needs to be done and like
Mhm.
bringing that to the top of the list. But then at the same time, when it comes to my daughter, like if I'm having a day where I really want to be with her and I want to spend time with her, like she is the number one priority. And if that's what I'm craving in a given moment, like I give into that. Like I want to be with her and that's the number one most important thing. But I would say like just being really vicious about prioritizing like what truly needs to be done and being kind on myself because I think prior to being a mom, I felt like I could bust out so much more, right? Like I just could be so much more productive when it came to work and doing things and emails and everything. Like you don't have like a little person kind of interrupting you or wanting your attention, needing your attention. So I always try to be kind to myself that like this has been a massive change and transition. She's my number one priority. So I'm kind to myself that it's like it's not going to be perfect. The output's not going to be the same as maybe it used to be, but this new way of things has enhanced my life. Like, and she has enhanced my life in ways that, as we know as mothers, it's like you can't even explain it. So just being kind to myself.
Has that been an adjustment also for the people around you? Because I also find that if you are someone who was like go, go, go before having kids, and then you aren't that way necessarily on call 24/7, like you have kids now and you have a child and or multiple kids that want and need your attention and just life is different. The people around you also, I feel like, have to transition into that new adjustment of like you not being available the way that you once
Yeah.
were. Has that been a journey for you too?
Yeah, I think it definitely with certain relationships or certain expectations. I got really lucky, at least with my business, with my skincare brand, Covey. My co founder and I were pregnant at the same time. I was
Oh,
only
perfect.
3 months ahead of her. So she met me not long after, I gave birth. So we are so understanding of each other and when stuff is going on. Like I was literally just texting her and I was like, what is going on there? I haven't heard from you in a few hours. And she's like, I think my son has an ear infection. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Like, we just like we get it. So in that sense, at least with Covey, that's been life changing because she's my best friend and she's my business partner, and we just like we truly get it, and we're like in the thick of like that first year with the baby. So that's nice.
And let's talk about Covey because I mean, there are, you know, I want to talk a little bit about pregnancy and postpartum, but just going into Covey, I mean, I'm like a total skincare junkie. So for
Your
me,
skin is amazing.
thank you so much. It's so dry right now because of this weather in LA is insane. I'm like, I just need the more hydration, the better. But what's amazing about your line is that it's also pregnancy safe because
Yes.
I now have an almost 5 month old, but it was really like the transitions when I had my first daughter and was pregnant with her. It was like I felt like I had to give up all of my skincare routines.
Totally.
Just nothing was pregnancy safe, but your whole line is.
Yes, everything is pregnancy and nursing safe. So, and that really comes to mind, especially with our sleep type of Cuccio, which is a retinol alternative. As you guys may or may not know, those who are listening, retinol is an absolute no-no when you're pregnant
Yeah.
and when you are nursing. So Bakuchiol has actually been found in studies to be as effective as retinol, which is incredible. So except it doesn't cause irritation and redness and kind of that dryness and flaking that comes with retinol. So it's basically just a gentle, equally as effective ingredients or a sleep type of cucciol for anyone, like anyone who's nursing or like pregnant in my life. I'm like, you're gonna be so happy when you try this product because people are like, yes, I still get to like have this kind of like preventative element in my routine. Like once you become pregnant and nursing or wherever you're at in your journey, you do feel like you have to reassess everything, like not even skincare, food, like feels like so
Yeah.
much goes out the window. So all of our products, yes, there's no paraben, sulfates, dyes, fragrances, essential oils, everything can be used, which was like game changing because Christine and I, my co-founder, we started working on Covey years ago, but we wanted something that women could use at every phase of their life, and we took that into consideration with every product development. So yes, and it's been really great, and a lot of our customers have been like really happy about that.
That's amazing. And what made you want to start doing that? Because I feel like so many of us have this idea of like, oh my God, it'd be great to start a skincare line or a clothing line or a jewelry line. But the people who
Yeah.
actually go and take that leap and actually do it, I'm like, what made you want to actually like go out there and actually start it and put a product out?
Yeah. I mean, I had been a model for so long, like over 10 years, primarily in the beauty space. And as a model, like, especially being a beauty model, my skin was like my business and my life. And I came from the school of thought when it came to skincare and my skincare routine that more was more. I would layer like every single, because you work with makeup artists and so many wonderful professionals. And I would just layer every single product on that anyone recommended to me. But my skin would still suffer. It would be like dry and flaking. And I would go to work and like makeup artists that I work with consistently would be like, what are you doing now? And I'd be like, but I'm using like all this super potent, expensive stuff. And actually, our partner dermatologist, Dr. Julie Rusak, was really the one who was like, really less can be more when it comes to skincare, as long as you're using the right products in the right order that were designed to be used together. We found that that was a key problem that a lot of people struggled with in creating their skincare routines. They didn't know what products they needed. They had no idea if they work together. Can you pair this ingredient with this ingredient? And so that was something that was like a really big focus for us. And I just really wanted to simplify skincare and make it really approachable and fun. So you still have that moment in your day that's for you, that's become even more important as a mom. I can't do a million things. Like my morning and evening routine are not as like long and elaborate as maybe they used to be or I'd like to be. But I just want skincare to feel easy and approachable. But of course, the most important thing is that it works. So partnering with Dr. Julie Rusak was something that was like a big key to that. And we created so many different versions of these products and iterations and tested them on over 150 different people before we even launched with our original Cubby routine. But Christina and I, you know, she's my business partner, and we both had that same kind of struggle slash confusion around skincare and craved the same thing. And we came together, and I think like anyone starting a business, it starts with like a Google Doc, and we were just like shooting articles back and forth to each other. And we're like, look at this trend. It's like 15 steps. Look at like what this is happening here. Like, look how confusing this is. Like, look at these questions that are showing up like on my YouTube channel, my Instagram comments. And then we just slowly started like piecing it together.
I love that. I mean, my friends always joke with me that my skincare routine, especially before I became a mom, was literally like a 14-step situation of like every prop under the sun, like trying everything. And I'm always down to like experiment, try different things, do a variety of different masks. And even now I wake up before my girls wake up just so I can do certain my face, just to like start the day nicely.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. It's nice to have that moment to yourself. And for me, I'm like, I want to be like the cleansed, brightened, hydrated version of myself, not the one that like rolls out of bed like with my messy bun like totally out of it. Those days happen, of course, but I do feel like my skincare routine, even my light makeup and like putting on something mildly put together, it's like part of a uniform that I put on each day that's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to like do this, do what I need to do today.
I love that. And of course, we're going to like link everything to Cubby. I love the name also. And also, just so you know, I am somebody who, when it comes to the packaging of skincare, I'm very specific about like what can be out and what cannot be out. But it's so aesthetically pleasing. Like the design that you guys chose is very and nice on the eyes in a bathroom. So I'm also very into that. What's the name Cubby stand for?
Yeah, so cubby is actually a real word. It means a small flock of birds. And we went with that because we were looking for a word around like togetherness and community. You know, Christina and I are best friends. We thought of ourselves as a mini community. We thought of like kind of my followership and my communities as sort of this little group. We think of the 3 products, our original routine that we launched with, as this little group. So we were looking for words around group, togetherness, friendship, and cubby came up, and it just always stuck. Like we just were like, that's such a cute short name. And yeah, we like it because it's like community and friendship, and birds fly together to kind of support each other to go in the direction that they need to go. And we loved it.
I love that. It's so awesome to also be in business with your best friend is like the dream. Okay, so going back to pregnancy and your experience pregnant and also postpartum, I think especially, you know, obviously knowing the industry that you've grown up in and that you've been such a big part of, that being pregnant in that industry to me is always really interesting, because I would assume, you know, obviously you did a ton in the beauty space and continue to do a ton, but also your body is such a big part of, you know, your job and your career. And then you go into this beautiful part of life where your body is really used to, you know, create something and then oftentimes feed something, and just that whole transition. What was that like for you as far as just the whole body image subject goes?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was hard. Like I'm not going to lie. I think like also when you're pregnant and you're entering motherhood, especially during pregnancy, there are a lot of people around you and you're very encouraged like to love your body, like love these changes, embrace
Right.
these changes, and like I wanted to be one of those people, but I wasn't. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like these changes are so drastic. I feel foreign in my own body and so strange." And even like outside of being a model and like that element of things, I grew up like an athlete and I loved
Yeah.
sports and I felt big and like out of shape and out of breath all the time. Like there were so many elements where I was like, I don't get this. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how this body works. And yeah, the changes were really hard to me, and like getting dressed was hard, and that's something that like makes me feel good in the day. And I don't say it to say it that way to be overly negative. I say it more so to be like, if you're not someone who's like, I'm loving this stage, or you're not feeling like you're glowing, a lot of women feel that way. They're not like, I'm just absolutely glowing and like loving every second of this. I felt really strange and really out of it. And of course, postpartum is just a whole other side of things for
Yeah.
sure. I don't know how you felt, but that was my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's always interesting, and I totally agree with you that like there isn't a huge amount of conversation where women say like, "Oh, I actually don't love this
Yeah,
feeling," like, you know, changing, or they feel uncomfortable in that situation because, you know, on the one hand, of course, it's such a huge blessing to be able to get pregnant,
totally.
and then, you know, the flip side is that, you know, you oftentimes don't feel great. You know, a lot of people feel terrible their entire pregnancy or certain parts of
Totally.
it. And then, you know, postpartum journey for everybody is so different. Like it's, you know, there is, and I'm sure you felt that, which I want to hear about, like the bounce back
Oh
culture
yeah.
afterwards. I mean, I'm sure for you it
So
was kind of,
hard.
let's go.
You know, I feel like bounce back culture is so hard for all women, but I also think like the model bounce back is like
Yeah.
another level because like
What was it like to have what is the model bounce back like? I just expected you to be exactly the way you were before having a
no.
child.
Oh my gosh, no. But you know what was like so triggering? It was like a lot of girls that I know and like fellow models like gave birth around the same time as me. Of course, you're like chatting during that time. And I just remember still looking like 5 months pregnant when I was like weeks postpartum. And then another girl that I knew was walking the runway and had like abs. And I was like, I'm so confused. Like, why do I look like that? I still look, I'm wearing my maternity clothes still. What the
Yeah.
heck? So I definitely felt the pressure, but also I was like nursing during that time and I nursed for about 5 months. And then you have the people who are like, oh yeah, like I just like shed all the weight from breastfeeding. And I'm like, I feel like I'm holding on to everything. And I have
Yeah.
like triple, double D's and like, this
Yeah.
is not happening for me. The bounce back is not happening. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't feel like normal in my body till like 9 months postpartum, like, and still not the same, of course not the same as before, but I was kind of like, okay, like I'm getting dressed and feeling somewhat confident. But again, like I struggled with this because I've talked about body positivity on my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and it's something that like embracing your body in every stage that it's at is something that I feel strongly about and encourage other people. But then I also did have moments where I was like, is it okay that right now I'm like not loving every inch of my body? Do I appreciate what it did and like respect what like it literally just made a life? But I'm also like, this is just a phase of my life. This is just a period. It's not forever. And I'm trying to just be gentle with myself and let myself like nurture another life and not feel this pressure to like be back on Instagram in a bikini 2 months later. But there is so much pressure. It's wild. And you know what? Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being so negative, but like women, we're a big part of it because you do see women who like give birth and people, even say it to me now. They're like, what? You had a baby? Like, look at you. You look amazing. You don't look like you had a baby. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
what does it look like to have a baby? It's like, I don't know, the conversations around it are touchy and strange. I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
almost, yeah, it's very appearance focused. Like, oh, you don't look
Yes.
so exhausted, or you don't look like a total
Right.
disaster. Like,
Yeah.
and of course the commenting of like, what you might physically look like having a baby of whatever age it might be is, but I mean, when you were postpartum, I mean,
Mhm.
I also like, I'm always wondering like, when is it, when are you considered not postpartum? But then somebody told me
I
on
don't know.
conversations that after you have a baby, you're like forever considered postpartum. So
Okay. Perfect.
anyway,
Perfect.
um, but I mean, in that time when you did have moments, just because you are such a, an advocate for body positivity and
Yeah.
positive self-talk, and of course, everybody has days where it's harder than other days to
Mhm.
be positive about maybe the way you feel or what you see in the mirror. And I think that it's so important to have people, especially in your line of work, to be such positive voices for that, because it's there's so much that's not that conversation, that being able to
Totally.
have that positivity is so important. But when you were postpartum and not feeling great about the way that you felt or looked, what did you do, or what were your practices to kind of get you out of that space?
I think like what's nice about postpartum and when you get in your head like that is like you have this whole new little person in front of you that you need to take care of and nurture. So it's like whenever you have anxiety in general, taking the focus, or anxiety or that type of sadness, taking the focus off yourself is always, to me, the most helpful thing. It's not about me now. I like created this life. I'm a mother now. What kind of energy do I want her to take on for me? It's not that. I don't want her to know or feel that I don't feel good in this skin or good in this body. So I would think about that a lot, because I do kind of believe in like the energy transmission. Like I want her to know that I feel confident, and that I want her to feel that way. And it's not all about like how you look in a pair of jeans or whatever it might be. And I think in general, I just would always tell myself, like most things, like this too shall pass. Like it feels, you do feel the pressure. And I felt it, and I felt anxiety about it, and felt like I would be looking at the comparison. It's hard, but I would just keep reminding myself, like, there's no rush, there's no race, there's no competition. Like, my priorities have shifted. For many years, my main focus was like, how can I be thin to do my job well, which is to be a model? And it's like, now my priority is like, how can I make sure that I'm a good and fulfilled example for my daughter, who's like
Mhm.
now on this planet, and my job is to nurture her and to take care of her. So I tried to like continuously remind myself of like where my priorities lie now, but also not being hard on myself when I had those moments where I was like not like feeling good where I'm at right now. Like, and I just, and like, I think a key part of that also is like leaning on other moms. I don't know about for you, but I felt like when I had my daughter, you like something in you was like, I need to like connect with like my fellow moms, people who
Mhm.
have had children, people who are pregnant right now, because you're just like, that connectivity and that friendship and foundation is so helpful when you're in those moments when you're really in your head.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I think especially having babies in the COVID days of
Yes.
this world that we live in, being able to have that connection is so important, and also much more challenging than it would have been, pre-pandemic, of being able to have certain people around you, or just like the support system. So having to get creative is definitely a
Yes.
must, just to have like
Totally.
some sort of sanity. I also, I mean, I don't know if you feel this, being, obviously like the person that you are, but also now being a mother to a daughter, and talking about body image and just how we speak about our bodies. Do you view that subject differently now that you're a mother to a girl? Like I remember, when the conversation of body image started in our family. I have a sister, and my mom is a huge part of my life, always has been and still is. But I remember like there are certain things of how she changed how she talked about herself in front of us, or what, you know, how we view ourselves, especially as we got older. I mean, your daughter isn't even one yet, but I mean, is that a conversation that you're having in your mind of how you're going to handle that part of, you know, raising a daughter?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of thought about that, but it's definitely something that comes to mind now. And it's actually something that I always admired about my own mother. I think it was like a really great like neutrality that she brought to like food and her own body. Sure, later in life, as I was an adult, we were able to, we spoke about that more freely and like openly, but as a kid, it was like never discussed. And I definitely think, you know, when like I think about being a mom, like not talking about your body, focusing on what you look like, labeling foods as good and bad, like that is something that I think about a lot and something I've talked about with my husband as well, like making sure that like we are being kind of neutral slash positive about those conversations, because like kids are like sponges, they listen to everything, and it's hard enough being a girl in today's society. And then of course like it's like I have that on steroids in my mind being a model
Yeah.
for so long. So it's like it's definitely something that I'm like, okay, this is super important to me, but I also don't want to put too much focus on it that it like goes in the other direction, right? Like you don't want to like traumatize them in any way, but you know, being neutral about food and about my body in front of her with her is something that I definitely want
Yeah.
and think
Yeah,
about.
I know. It's such an interesting thing because, you know, both of our kids are younger. I see it with my 2-year-old now. She just like they watch you so closely, just like everything that you do. And then if you are putting on makeup, watch you put on makeup. Like my daughter Lila will come in and just like watch me put on makeup, and then she'll start playing with the makeup, and I'm like, is this bad? Is this good? Like I'm like just, you know, we're having fun. It's such a interesting thing to be aware of it before having kids, especially girls. And then as they get older and you know, have a family of your own, it's interesting to just like, okay, so now this is very, very important. You know, you want to be mindful of everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
think these
it's a
are all,
lot of pressure to like, I feel like, and like there's like that trend on TikTok. I don't know if you're on TikTok, but it's like they call it almond mom. Like I grew up with an almond mom, like a mom who eats like an almond a day and does like 12-mile walks. And like, you know, these daughters associate like the inception of like their relationships with food and exercise with like very early memories of their mom. So there's definitely a lot of pressure to like get it right.
yeah, I would say I grew up with a coffee and protein bar mom.
Okay, that's a different mom.
Just like plain black coffee and then like protein bars is just like, let's go to school, let's go do this. But I mean, I just like, I now get it, especially because, you know, she had 4 kids, and I'm like, you know, just
Right.
wherever you can, you know, get it at the moment is
Totally.
a win.
That's
Well, thank
true.
you so much for having this conversation with me. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful, and our girls are so close in age. So whenever we're in like the same place, we'll just put them all
I
in a
would
room
love that.
together.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me. And these were great questions that are making me think and reflect
Oh no.
even more. I'm going to get off this and be like, okay, I got to remember to go back to that one. So thank you.
Love it. Thank you so much, and congrats on the skincare line. We'll make sure to link everything. It's so awesome and
Thank you.
exciting.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.